turns out I was actually like proper out. Like Joe was on the phone to the paramedics. They were talking her through CPR while she was keeping me alive. So I stopped breathing for quite some time.
My name is Paul Harvey, and this is Life, Passion and Business. We're about helping you explore, finding your passion for life and the work that you do. But it's so much more than that. It's about finding clues to the big life questions. What does it mean to be successful? What is the meaning of life? If you're looking for more, then join me on this journey where together we will discover through interviews, tools and tips how to live life full of meaning, passion and purpose. My guest on the show describes himself as an author, a healer and a potty mouth. Gareth Riddy is a 6-foot+ bodybuilder. He's been a doorman and a mixed martial arts cage fighter and still enjoys a bit of wrestling. Gareth has broken the mould for me, as before I met him, my stereotypical view of a male healer probably involved a beard and sandals. I first became aware of Gareth a while back when he launched his book, How to Undo the Shit the Modern World Does to Us. We became connected through social media, and finally I heard his story when we were in a coaching group together. Gareth is a cancer survivor, and his journey to become a healer started with healing himself. Now, as he said, he's a self-confessed potty mouth, and he does tend to use a bit of colourful language, although I have to say he was quite well behaved on the podcast. But his speciality is helping people out of chronic pain, resolving the issues and returning people's cognitive functions. He says, I do it all with love and rude words. His patients call him a magician as he does his magic and they get to be people again. So as you will hear on the show, his goal in life is to give as many people as possible the tools they need to thrive in the modern world without being dragged down by it. His work often starts when the client says the doctors can't help me. Gareth is a big softie and one of the all-round good guys. I hope you enjoy the conversation as much as I did. Just before this program begins, I want to tell you there's an announcement about an event I'm planning in the light of COVID-19. The details at the end of the program. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Life, Passion and Business. I am delighted today to be with Gareth Riddy. Now he's a big guy and he's a fitness man, but he's also a pain specialist and very much a healer. There's an interesting story to be told from Gareth. So I would like to welcome to the show today. Welcome here, Gareth. Thank you very much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you for having me, dude. Thank you very much. It's an honour. Pleased to be here.
So if anyone doesn't realise, Gareth is a big chap and he does tend to have a very interesting form of communication. So if you are of a sensitive nature, you may just have to put up with it, because what Gareth has to say is really, really worth it. So I know Gareth has a long story. And tell me, Gareth, how did you get to where you are now? Because obviously now I know you work very much in the healing world these days from where you were before. Because I know you've been a doorman at one stage?
Yeah.
So, all right.
For years. Yeah.
Well, you've got the body for it, that's for sure. So tell me more about it. What's the story?
Yeah, so I was a very unhealthy, unhappy kid growing up, right?
Right.
So like single parent family back before it was fashionable, back in the 70s.
That was a period of time when it was almost an embarrassment, wasn't it?
yeah, it wasn't as cool as it is nowadays.
Well, it was. I remember that because I remember families that I knew that were one parent. They kept it quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't know any better, but I remember my mum used to go to she used to drag me around different churches and stuff when I was a kid. And I always used to wonder why she'd leave a church after a little while. And it turned out it was because she was a single parent. So they're all spreading rumours and stuff.
Looking down at that,
sluts and all that type of shit. I was like, fucking hell. Yeah, I didn't find that out 2 years later, actually.
No.
So, anyway, yeah. So I had a a long history of being unhealthy and happy as a kid. Like, because I was an only child, I was very isolated. I had like bad asthma, so it meant I couldn't play with the other kids like I used to. Couldn't play football for shit because it used to get wheezy, right? Which meant that I ended up hanging out by myself more or with the girls.
Right.
Which, in retrospect, is quite cool. But at the time, it was quite humiliating. I remember I was having a PE lesson once, and I must have been about 8 or 9, something like that. And the teacher went, right, boys are playing football, the girls are skipping, because that was how it was back then, right? And I pleaded with the teacher. I was like, oh, please don't make me play football because of my asthma. I'll get really wheezy. And it wasn't a lie. You're right, you can go and play with the girls if you're going to be a girl. And I was like, fuck, it's mortifying. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Anyway, yeah, so that kind of drove me for a long time. I ended up getting into drugs and alcohol and, a state of homelessness and living in squats and travel sites and all that type of shit. So I kind of went badly downhill.
Colourful life, though, I would have thought. You saw a lot of life, I imagine, and it certainly it probably changed you, I imagine.
Oh, massive. Yeah, everything has always brought me. It brought me to where I am now. Do you mean I wouldn't be the man I am now if I hadn't seen what I'd seen and experienced what I'd experienced? If it'd have all been good, what would I be doing? Something considerably less fulfilling, maybe. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. That's for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So so long story short-ish, a little bit. I eventually got myself off drugs, and I found a job as a doorman. And it was the only job I could do, which meant I didn't have to get out of bed early in the morning. So
that's a good plan.
Wicked. We'll do that. Yeah, because I never lasted longer than 2 weeks in a job because I was doing that. And I did that, and it worked. It worked perfectly, and I did that for about 17 years on and off. I had like a few
That's a long time in that industry.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Because that's a long time in that industry. Gosh.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, it's probably about 13 or 14 altogether, but over a period of 17 years, something like that.
Is it a well-paid? Is it a well-paid role? Sorry to ask. Is it a well-paid job?
Awful, mate. Awful. The money didn't change in 10 years, and it's still the same now. I retired from door work 6 years ago, something like that. I was only doing like weekends at the time, but the money hadn't changed in well over a decade.
Wow. And these guys are on the front of it, aren't they, in a way? Because it's like, it's not so bad at the beginning of the night. At the end of the night, it must be horrible.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're getting like a tenner an hour for it, like normal door rates. Proper shit, That gets worse. It's weird. But I got into a few altercations, obviously, kind of goes with the job. And my asthma kicked off quite a lot. I nearly had an asthma attack a few times, or not an asthma attack, but bad, needing my inhaler, and needing an inhaler break mid-fight isn't ideal. People aren't always so understanding. So it nearly caused a bit of trouble on more than one occasion. So my boss, who looked a little bit like a cross between Phil Mitchell and Popeye's love child, persuaded me to join a gym. I couldn't tell who's the dad in that situation and the mum, but I like to think it's Popeye's dad. Anyway, so I joined the gym, and it was there that I first realised that I wasn't this victim that I always thought I was.
Right. I
actually started having a bit of control. I started getting healthier. I wasn't getting wheezy, more confident, all that type of shit. I was like, fuck, I'm not this, this fat wheezy fuck that I always thought that I was.
Right.
And that really started me on the journey. And that was 99, I reckon, when I first started doing that. And then in the year 2000, I had I was looking to become a personal trainer. I thought this was cool. I love this shit. Do you know what I mean? And I had to go in the hospital for an operation. I had like a cyst thing removed. I had a big cyst come up on my neck, and it went down again. And then there's a little bit left. So they said, right, 6 weeks time, we'll take it out. So I went to have it taken out. And then I woke up with this massive scar on my neck. It was like a 3-inch scar, basically, from what was essentially a tiny bit of cyst left, although it's like half a tennis ball when it first came up. So I went in to see the consultant like a week after or something like that. And he was like, surprise, you got cancer. It didn't get quite like that. I was like, fucking hell.
That's not quite a bedside manner, is it? Not quite a bedside manner, is it really?
It wasn't that bad. Yeah. I was like, shit. 24 years old at this time.
Sorry to ask, did they do any preparation for that? Because that's a big brick to hit someone with at 24.
Yeah, it wasn't really. No, I mean, it wasn't delivered with such jazz and panache, you know.
Hmm.
But all I really remember is walking in, just thinking it was normal. You know, back in those days, you sat in the waiting room, looking at 3-month-old magazines of gardening or the Beano or something. Do you know what I mean? Didn't have phones to entertain yourself, so I was really bored, obviously. But when I went in, he said like, "Sit down, how are you?" type thing. And then went, okay, we found cancer on the back of it. I was like, okay, interesting. And then like the rest is a blur. Really, I don't really remember much about it.
I've heard that before from people. When you hear that kind of news, your kind of brain shuts down. You stop hearing it.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't tell you what happened. You know, I remember getting the bus back and just being in a right daze for days afterwards. That was a bit, well, fucking terrifying, obviously. And that was a weird time. So that threw me out the health and fitness side of things for a long time. So I had to go and get treatment, have an operation, all that type of shit. And then
sounds like they caught it early enough.
Yes, yeah, they did. It started in my tonsil and spread into my neck, and my neck presented this big cyst.
Right.
As like I guess, going, wait, check this shit out. So I did. So that was a big thing. And then you'd think I'd get back into health and fitness straight after, but I didn't. So because I couldn't eat for so long, I was in a lot of pain. I lost a lot of weight because of radiotherapy. So I was just glad to eat shit food again, and drink beer, and smoke weed. So I misbehaved for a little bit, and then a couple of years, about 2 years later, I was with a girlfriend at the time, and it was ex now. It's a long time ago. Sat on the sofa. And I was trying really hard to smoke weed, right? Trying really hard to have this spliff, but I was wheezing. Like my asthma was really fucking bad. But I was trying to persist as best as I could. She walked in and she goes, "Just go to bed, you knob. Give up." And I was like, "No." So I finished it. Then went to bed. And that night I had a massive asthma attack. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I got myself to the floor. Like woke her up to get a fucking ambulance. Got myself to the floor. And then passed out, and I don't remember anything else that happened there. And then the next thing I remember is I woke up and I saw these paramedics over me.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You've had a bit of an asthma attack," I was like, "Fuck," and like my ex was stood next to me, and in the corner was Joanne, the lodger. I was like, "Fuck, Joe's seen my knob." That was the first thing I thought. Right? It turns out I was actually like proper out. Like, Joe was on the phone to the paramedics. They were talking her through CPR while she was keeping me alive. So I stopped breathing for quite some time. So it was a very, very serious situation. But I was out. I didn't know anything about it. I was just there, laying there a bit blue.
Bloody hell. So you died by the sounds of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Had no one been there, I would have done,
Yeah.
So I was very lucky they kept me alive. I don't know how long I wasn't breathing for. She reckons about 5 minutes, but I imagine that time wasn't exactly linear at that time for her.
Yeah.
But I do remember I had some memory issues probably for a couple of years after that. So there's definitely some lack of oxygen somewhere along the line. So after that kind of changed things a little bit. Then I started looking a little bit more into my health.
Yeah.
And then I eventually went back into personal training.
Nothing like a warning like that to say, "Oi, sort it out."
yeah. Didn't fucking listen the first time.
Yeah. So you got back to personal training, and
yeah. I finally went to personal training, and then that led me all the way down to where I am now. I worked for years training fighters, MMA fighters, got into like more of the performance aspect of it, but because my health was so poor growing up, that was kind of what really interested me.
Right.
And then my mum died. She had cancer, and we had like a conversation. You've got a choice. You can either keep the house, or I'll sell the house, give some to her brother and sister, and you can have money. I was like, all right, we'll do that one. And that's allowed me access to courses and stuff, which I never had access to.
Right.
So I did a few, and I found some that looked really interesting, and just followed the trail. I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. So I just followed it and ran with it.
So you moved into kind of the healing profession, and you followed a particular modality.
Yeah, and it was based around fitness, but then it just grew and it grew. and that just seemed like the path to go, you know. And it just, so I invested a lot of time and money into that, particularly time. I was quite lucky at the time because I had a bit of money left over.
Yeah.
It meant that I didn't have to struggle to get clients while I learned and really embraced the stuff. So I still had clients, but I wasn't, you know, wall-to-wall clients and then trying to learn. I had
So
a bit of
I have
space.
to say, you know, you don't look like a healer. You know,
Yeah.
I'm expecting beard and like sandals, mate, and and you're not that.
No, I am sat here cross-legged, if that helps.
Oh, that does help. Yeah. So obviously, healing for me, you know, there's obviously various types of healing. There's a kind of hands-on, which is like the kind of spiritual type of healing, and there's other forms of healing using herbalism, what have you. But yours is very much a
Yeah.
physical-based healing, more almost like,
Yes.
is it a massage?
No, no. So what I practice primarily is kind of warped into other stuff and other shit's got involved and taken on its own life, really. It's something called AMN, Applied Movement Neurology. And it's all about how the brain and body communicate, essentially. So if you have an issue, whatever that issue may be, the brain is telling the body to behave in that way or not for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about how the system is communicating underneath an issue, which is, and why is it there, and what is causing that issue to even arise in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's all about communication. It's not like we randomly have a bad back or randomly have digestive issues or randomly have cancer or whatever it is. It's not a random event, you know. There's a whole host of things going on.
It's triggered by something down the line, and that's the outcome, I guess.
Exactly that. Yeah. So think of it like the operating system. So I get in on the operating system and really clean up communication within the operating system, and then the body can normalize and regulate itself.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
essentially.
And so, and obviously, this is a passion for you now because this is what you do full time. You know, this is
Yeah.
So what is in it for you? What is it about this that's so exciting for you? I guess you can heal people. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, all healing is really it's the person doing it themselves. You know, you're just creating the space in the body so the body can do what it needs to do. Right?
Okay.
We're also neurologically overstimulated.
Right.
Too much accelerate, not enough brake. The body can't regulate because we're made for a different time and environment that we live in, essentially. So if it's a bit fucking mental. So all
Right.
healing arts is really allowing the body to do what it's made to do.
Okay.
However they decide to do it. Going back to your question, would say, what's in it for me? Well, yeah, I just fucking love it. It's just great, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's obviously very rewarding. It's cool. It ticks all the boxes, you know. It makes me feel good. It means I don't have to get a real job. It means I can fuck about. It's very creative, which is amazing. And it makes me feel of value in the world, you know. And it seems like because of where it came from my history and my mum's history. Just paying it forward just seemed like the right thing to do, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've been looking at this week at recognition. There's been a big topic this week about how we, you know, what does recognition mean for ourselves? How do we get recognized, and how do we feel recognized, and how do we like to recognize others? And it's interesting that kind of, well, what is it that in a situation that makes me feel good when I'm doing something for someone, you know, and you know, and it's pretty easy what you're doing because you're going to get recognized. If you make someone feel better, they're going to thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it ticks all the boxes. You know, if you go with like the 6 human needs, as said by Tony Robbins, they all get hit. You know, all of them. So you've got like, you know, variety, that's there. Certainty, most of the time that's there, pretty much. You know, what is a connection? Absolutely, you're connected with that person's significance because, of course, you're significant because you mean something to that person because you're there helping them.
Yeah.
And growth and contribution, that's all 6. They're all there. All in one little job.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So what kind of successes have you had with this?
Loads. You know, where do I go? I've had, you know, quite a few, like getting rid of people's vertigo and anxieties. You know, that's quite good, like neurologically driven stuff like that. Ton of bad backs and shoulder issues and digestive issues. You know, I've got a new one. Actually, what I don't know if it's a success or not, but I plan on it being a success. Somebody who hasn't been able to have periods for a very, very long time. So my plan is, if I can get her body regulated again and she can actually conceive, that'd be amazing. That's my next big goal is her. What else have we got? Oh yeah,
But
we got
that's quite a thing, isn't it? To help someone in their fertility. That must be amazing. That possibility.
yeah. I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah, if we can get the body doing what it's meant to do, then we're good.
Yeah.
Just a case of taking out the old traumas for a lot of the time. My biggest success is a lady who had terminal cancer in 3 places and 6 months to live, and that was, when did we start working together? Nearly 3 years ago, actually. She's still very much alive now. There's definitely 2 of the tumors have definitely gone. We don't know about the third because she doesn't even bother going. So that was really cool. It doesn't really get much cooler than that, and that was an accident initially.
Right. How do you mean?
Kind of ran with. So I first realised just over 3 years ago now that I could do this stuff online because I was operating out of a gym.
Okay.
Still predominantly doing this stuff, and so I was wanting a bit of an experiment. So I put like a thing on Facebook that says I want 5 people that are in pain. I want to see if I can help them.
Was that in one of the Facebook groups that you and I share?
No, it's just normal Facebook. Just put it on my profile.
Okay.
And loads of people did it.
Okay.
And this one person came to me with all the cancer and shit. And I've never met her before, but she was like a friend of a friend. So I started working on her, and within, I said to everyone, right, you get 2 sessions each because I just want to see if this shit works.
Yeah.
I'm not here to pitch you or anything like that. I just want to see. It's purely an experiment. And it works. I got her out of pain, like for the duration of the session, like for a couple of days, there was no pain. So well, that's fucking amazing. But then I was having a bit of a dilemma. I was like, fuck, do I just like walk away? Do you know what I mean? Do I just? So I knew she had no money.
Yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable charging anyway.
No.
It didn't really feel like right to me. Do you know what I mean? But was I willing to watch somebody else die so soon after my mum?
That's hard, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, it is. But it wasn't really an answer. There was no question to it in the end. I couldn't do it. So in the end, I said to her, look, I'm here with you to the end. Let's just fucking crack on. So we just ran with it and just kept doing shit and just pushed and pushed. She was having no treatment. And I was working on her all the time, multiple times a week. And she was doing all the stuff that she was meant to do, lifestyle and stuff, and working on her mindset and all that type of shit. And she got better, basically.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So obviously you're passionate about this stuff. And I can't quite hear it in your voice, but as kind of like, but I can see it in your face. I can see you're passionate about it. What is success for you? Because we all have this success model in the world, which means often the success model we're all given is stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a stuff guy. I never grew up with stuff. I've never really been into stuff.
But see, that can make people want stuff because you didn't grow up with it.
It can, yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't grow up with stuff, but also the beliefs that I got from my mum that I wasn't deserving of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Not that she meant to put those beliefs on me, but she did because she had those same beliefs and I grew up with them,
Yeah.
So stuff was always something that other people had.
Yeah.
I was like a very, very low kid for that. I guess that's a big part of it, that low self-worth type thing.
Yeah.
But for me, success is really about connection. That's the long and short of it. Being able to do something that I love and being able to truly connect with people is as successful as I can get.
Yeah.
If I can put food on my table and do what I love and go where I want to go, and really connect and make a difference, then that is success.
That sounds good. Yeah.
If stuff comes with that, happy fucking days.
Do you see yourself doing the same thing in 10 years?
Yes, but expanding on it. For me, it's not about how I make the money or how much money I make. It's about how I make it is more important. Do you know what I mean?
That's a nice philosophy.
Yeah, we can make money. Money's there, and there's loads of ways to make it. But if it don't fulfill you, it's just stuff, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely. So I've got like some plans I want to bring into the future. I don't think I'll ever fully move away from the healing aspect, but there is stuff that I want to do in terms of building the business up, so that I can spread the message wider and help more people. But what I teach and what I do one-to-one are two different things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that one-to-one can only ever be one-to-one. So
Yeah.
a lot gets missed, but there is a lot of stuff that I've learned over the years that is of value that I think people.
Is there something that I or my listeners could do that would make a difference to my life from the modality that you know about?
Yeah, yeah. So the biggest one that I always tell people about is barefoot earthing, grounding. That's super, super important.
It's a
Making
bit
sure we get
cold. It's a
enough
bit cold up
electrons.
here today for that one.
Yeah, it
But
is, isn't it?
yeah,
But we need electrons, is the long and short of it. We're all very electron deficient.
right.
So earthing is a great way to do that.
Okay.
Whether it be with earthing mats, grounding mats, whatever it is, or getting outside is the ideal.
Does that mean
Um,
touching a tree with your hands, or has it got to be your feet?
Whatever works for you. In the weather, I would go hands on a tree.
Right.
Nice weather, feet on the grass
In the
or
grass.
on the beach or something like that.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
long
I
as
mean,
as long as something natural and conductive.
I have to say, I live near the sea, quite far up in Scotland. But there are times when we do get a bit of sunshine, and you can walk on the beach with your feet in the water, and and it is just doing that for half an hour or so is just you
Yeah,
feel so good having walked through the surf for a bit.
that's the ultimate doing, because that's full power of the electrons right there, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing.
It is, and you also get that negative, because the waves and the kind of spray. I guess it's producing negative ions, so you're getting that off the water as well and breathing that in. That's why they say showers are so good, isn't it? Because they make negative ions.
Yeah, and
Can you,
sunlight.
can
It's
you get
all
earthing
round.
in the shower?
Depends on your shower.
Okay.
I guess commonly I would have thought no.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's something I think is super important. And moving is so important. We have more capacity for complex movement than any other species in our planet, and it's
Right.
massively part of it. So much of our emotional well-being and physical well-being is tied into our ability to move in a variety of ways. But
Right.
don't, and we end up fucked. Just move more.
Use it or lose it, eh?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a massive correlation between how much we move and our mental state,
Yeah.
and the body never lies.
And I guess sleep is another one, isn't it?
Sleep is huge, absolutely huge. Yeah, that's the big end as well, isn't it? When it comes to things that affect the human body, there's like two things that I always have to deal with my clients. One is traumas, past traumas, the effects of physical traumas or even emotional traumas. So, slight disclaimer here: I don't deal with traumas themselves. What I do is I deal with the physical effects that trauma is having in terms of the program running in the body afterwards.
Okay.
Because that affects all the physiology.
Yeah.
And the other one is our circadian rhythm, so being synced into light and dark cycles of the earth, the night and day. And that also, all our physiology again is tied into our circadian rhythm and light. So if we are very poorly trained to light, we're too much overexposed to artificial light, blue light from backlit screens, we're not sleeping when we're meant to be sleeping, then our physiology cannot regulate.
But what is it about that thing? Because I know from my own experiences that I can have a second wind at about 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And it's like about 11 o'clock when I should be going to bed, I can suddenly be wide awake and ready to, and I can be so bloody creative at that time. I can have, and it's like, I look at the clock and it's 1:30, but oh fuck, I've got to go to bed. It's like shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that can happen. And I know my son's the same. My son, like he pulls all-nighters regularly gaming with his mates.
Well, of course, yeah. You would do a screen in your face, wouldn't you?
I guess you would.
But
But
I think that's
what is it? Where does that second wind come from at that time of night?
I think it's a modern living thing. I think it's just the way that we are with light more than anything, Because if you go out and about, like you're camping or something like that, like with the woods and fire and that type of stuff, it tends not to happen. I'm basing that on a very small handful of times I've camped, by the way. Logically speaking.
I can't imagine you much being into camping, mate. But I just don't
know no, I love it. I just don't do it enough. But yeah, it's we live in a world where we're surrounded by light all the time, stimulating our brain, telling our brain it's daytime. So if you're going to bed and then you turn on the bathroom light, bing, that tells something to your brain. If you open the fridge, that light is telling something to your brain. If you've got bright lights, it's all telling something to your brain. So there's a lot going on. Add to that screens.
I read somewhere years ago that in the Middle Ages, people used to have two sleeps. They would go to
Yeah.
bed. So they go to bed soon after dusk, and then would wake up like mid-evening, midnight, or late near midnight, and they would have like a slight snack and do stuff, and then they go back to bed again before morning.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
yeah,
I'd love to know what the actual cycle is. I guess it varies as well from region to region,
yeah.
because you've got like places where it's dark for months at a time.
Well, you go a bit further north from here, and it won't get light till 9:30 this time
Yeah,
of year, or later, even 10 o'clock. So yeah, it's quite possible. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's got to be some variance, isn't there?
Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? How that how humanity has modified itself in the different locations we go. It also makes you wonder how it will survive in places where it doesn't in the summer, where it doesn't change. Further north again, you get very long days.
Yeah,
I mean, up here, I'm near on the Moray Firth, and I can look out the window at midnight in June, and I can still see the sunlight on the horizon.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, you need to come up and visit, mate.
Yeah, sounds cool. I think there's a lot of correlation between those more extreme types of light and dark cycles and temperature,
Right,
which is something that we're kind of very out of sync with as well. We're not used to being cold anymore.
right.
We just live in a perpetual heat, And I think this is, we'll call it a mildly educated guess, that when it's cold and it's winter and it's dark, so vitamin D, for instance, we all know we get vitamin D from the sun. The sun, skin synthesizes it, vitamin D, and that helps a lot of physiological functions. Now, theoretically, throughout the summer, we'd have access to a lot of food. We'd be getting all the vitamin D from the skin, and plus animals, whatever it is we're eating.
Yeah.
And we'd be getting fatter.
Right.
We're storing it. Vitamin D is fat soluble, right?
Right.
Now, in the winter, when it gets darker, also it gets colder.
Yeah.
And cold encourages stored fat, white fat, to turn into brown fat, which is more metabolically active.
Okay.
Thus releasing the vitamin D. So in the winter, we would be getting slimmer, using up all that stuff. And in the summer, we'd be getting bigger. But we'd do it the other way around.
Okay.
And without the cold.
Yes, and with unlimited food supplies.
Exactly that.
So we can see why the modern way. So this interestingly brings me to the title of your book, because Gareth is a published author here. So what's the title of your book, Gareth?
The title of my book is called How to Undo the Shit the Modern World Does to Us.
Yeah, and we've just described most of the modern shit, haven't we, really?
Yeah. Basically, we live in an environment we're not made for, and it makes us very unhappy. But we're here, so, we've got to do our best. But we have to take steps to make sure that we thrive.
So if people wanted to get a bit of the Gareth magic, how would they get in touch with you?
I would get on the internet and type my name in. That's your best bet. Gareth Riddy, all over it.
Your
Facebook, Instagram, exactly. LinkedIn. Right. I never use Twitter, but I'm there. GarethRiddy.com. All that shit.
Fantastic. Those links will be on the websites, on the podcast website, so we can do it there. So we are approaching the end of our time together, and there is one question I ask all of my guests, and that is, we are born on this earth, we spend a few years here, we have families, we do all sorts of stuff, and then we leave. Only humans are arrogant enough to think there's a purpose or a meaning to the whole thing. So for you, Gareth, really, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here?
So the meaning of life, so I just pulled my earphone out. The meaning of life to me is about finding purpose within the community in whichever way that is, however that suits people. So for me, because we are herd animals, we are group animals, I think that our purpose will always be tied into that. So, and also just to create. Creation is purpose in itself. All life is here to create and serve its kind, I guess, and on a greater scale, everything else. It's part of it. We're a cog, essentially. We're a fucking cog. But we tend to forget that we're a cog and take the cog out of the machine and then wonder why it goes to shit.
We're here to serve is a good one.
Exactly that. We're here to serve. Yeah,
that's great. Well, I've heard, it's interesting. It's a very similar response to most people. I've heard so many, this is now number 70 of the podcast, but maybe even a bit more. And I get a variety of answers to this question. But the one thing that I quite like is that I've taken from it is that life has absolutely no purpose whatsoever other than the purpose you choose to give it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We are purpose-making machines.
We are purpose-making machines. And that's like, and it's taken me a long time to kind of, and it's really now settling in me, that one. It's now, I'm going, okay, so it ain't going to come to me. I've got to go and bloody find it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you don't make your purpose, you haven't got one, and then you end up unhappy. So you better find one.
Well, Gareth Riddy, thank you so much for your time today. It has been a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all the best. And hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Cheers.
Will do, dude.
That was Life, Passion and Business with Paul Harvey and my guest, Gareth Riddy. As you heard on the programme, Gareth often worked remotely through Skype or Zoom. So if you'd like to get in touch, you can find him on Facebook or at his website, garethriddy.com. There's also the book, How to Undo the Shit the Modern World Does to Us, and that's available on Amazon as a paperback or Kindle or on Audible. The links, as always, are at Life, Passion and Business on the podcast page beneath the player. This show was recorded in January, before COVID-19 made the news and changed our lives. Like many, I am in lockdown, but thankfully unaffected directly by the virus. And, my heart goes out to those people that are dealing with its consequences or having lost people. Currently, my mind is turning as to how we can move forward beyond this pandemic. However we feel about it, it is an opportunity for a global reset. Life will return, but it will come back to a new normal. Now, how that impacts on our lives, for the most part, is out of our control, but how we react to it and what we do with it are entirely within our control. Life, Passion and Business is over 2 years old. And in that time, I have met well over 100 amazing people who are all bringing different gifts into the world. It is my vision to create a virtual event, bringing together past guests and different experts so that we may find what is needed to thrive in a post-COVID world. If you find that of interest, please go to the website and sign up so we can get in touch. If you'd like to be a speaker, check out the guest page, which is on the tabs, and there will be a summit tab for you there. And that is it for this week. As always, thank you for your time and attention, and I will catch you later.